Hi friends, it's so nice to see you today. Do I ever have something fun for us to do together? I'm very excited. Today we're going to make edible, that means you can eat it, peanut butter Play-Doh. Oh my goodness. I'm going to teach you how to make Play-Doh that's made from very simple ingredients you have around the house that you can eat. Oh yeah. And if you want, you can even bake it in the oven after. You can make it into cookies or shapes or whatever you like, and then bake them and eat them as a treat, a healthy treat. Let's get right down to business. Now, of course, some of you are already thinking, peanut butter, we don't have peanut butter in our house. My child's allergic or someone in my family is allergic. Not a problem. You can substitute this for any sort of, imitation nut butter, like Wow butter, which you can get at, I'm pretty sure, any of the grocery stores here in Whitehorse, or cashew butter, almond butter, whatever your family likes or can tolerate. So I will mention as well that this recipe includes dairy, and I don't have any substitutions for the dairy. So if you're like me and you're lactose intolerant and you can't drink milk and you can't eat cheese, this dough is just going to be for play and not for eating. Let's begin. This special, very easy to make Play-Doh only takes 3, count them, 1, 2, 3 ingredients. And like I said before, they're most likely things that you already have around the house. First and foremost, you will need some sort of nut butter. I've got peanut butter here. It is the sweet, sugary kind, and I've chosen that specifically because it has a particular consistency, and I think that's going to work best for this dough. Second, you will need this old school stuff that some of you might remember, grown-ups, and some of you might not. This is powdered milk. I don't typically have that around the house. Maybe some of you do. Maybe I lied about having these things around the house. I don't know. And then last but not least, you will need honey. Nature's candy, honey and raisins. So 3 ingredients: honey, boom, powdered milk, peanut butter or nut butter. Those are our ingredients. Now, as for materials, you don't need much else either. You don't need this. This is just a suggestion. I have a little mat that I'm doing my work on here at the table. I don't know if you ever have these at home with your kids. It's just a random placemat that I found that's in terrible shape, so it gets used for play, like Play-Doh or something at our house. So this will kind of cut down on stuff sticking to the table and getting stuck and not being able to pull it off. But if you don't have that, it's really not a problem. Little pro tip: if you want a less of a sticky surface for your child to work on, you can take parchment paper, if you have that around your house for baking, and tape that to the table, and your child could work on that, and your cleanup would be just as easy as pulling up the paper and crumpling it. So you will absolutely need to make this 2 measuring cups. Oh, these aren't the ones. Those are the wrong ones. I need these 2. You need 1/3 of a cup. That's the one with the 1/3 on it. 1/3. And 1 full cup. See? 1 cup. 1 cup, 1/3 of a cup. You need a mixing spoon. Mix, mix, mix. And a mixing bowl. I like to use a really big one because it gives lots of room to get those little arms in there, and there's a lot of room for error. Less goes flying out if you have more mixing space overall. So I got a real big one here. And this is what you need to make the recipe. So 3 tools: measuring cups, spoon, and bowl. 3 ingredients: peanut butter, honey, and the powdered milk. And then I do have some other things on my table, and they're for afterwards for play. And I'll bring those out after we've made the dough. So here we go. The first thing we're going to do is measure the powdered milk into the bowl. So we need 1 cup of powdered milk. That's the big one. 1 cup. Now, I've never made this recipe before, so we're going to find out if it even works. If it doesn't, we'll add a little or take a little away. Oh, this isn't open. I gotta cut this open. The good thing I got my handy scissors right here. There we go. Let's get at that stuff. Okay. Now, whew, I'm going to sneeze. Now, as most, whew, that went right up my nose. Now, as most of you know, when you fill a cup, you want to fill your measuring cup all the way to the top. If you have a big hump of stuff over, you probably have a little bit too much. And if you have a lot of space inside, there's not enough. You want to fill it right up to the top. Can you see that? Look, it's just flat right at the top. Perfect. Into the bowl. Crack it in there. And we'll put this stuff aside. Oh, it's just all right up my nose. Whew. Okay, so see, there it is in my bowl. The light's really shining right on my bowl, isn't it? Okay, so I got my powdered milk in the bowl. Now I'm done with the 1 cupper. Put it to the side. Then I'm going to get out my 1/3 of a cup and I'm going to measure the peanut butter out. Now, we're going to try a trick with this. I know it works with honey, but we're going to find out today if it works with peanut butter. I have a little bit of oil on my table. This is totally optional, parents. This just really makes measuring sticky things a lot easier. So I've got some oil. It's just grapeseed oil. That's my favorite cooking oil. And I got a piece of paper towel. I am going to put a tiny little bit of paper, I bunched up my paper towel. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on it, just a titch. And I'm going to rub the whole inside of this cup with it, and the outside actually. Maybe a little more. You want it to be nice and shiny. And theoretically, once you scoop the peanut butter out, it should just slide right out and not stick to the cup. We're going to test that out today. I'm going to load it in there. Let's see if it works. Open up the peanut butter. Whoo, that powdered milk. Don't just dump it in like I did. Maybe put it in there slowly or you're going to end up freezing it all in. Ooh, rip. Rip, rip, rip. Another one of the reasons that I chose this peanut butter, like the treat kind with the sugary stuff in it, is because it's usually mixed in. And it doesn't just have all the drippy oil. Okay, ready? Let's see if it works. Now we need 1/3 a cup of peanut butter. And this is my cup that I oiled up. Ready? Let's see. I don't know, I'm skeptical. I don't know if it's going to work. Okay, you know, squeeze it in there. Squeeze it in there, get it pretty flat. A little bit of extra, a little bit too much. Okay, looks good. Let's see, is it going to slide right out? Drum roll. Here we go. Does it just slide right out? Does it? Let's see. Oh! The big reveal. It didn't completely just slide right out, but most of it did. Huh, okay. Well, that's kind of optional then, parents. If you want to try the oil trick with the peanut butter, great. If not, don't worry about it. Now, I always keep an extra bowl on the side for my dirty, sticky stuff. It helps me have less sticky stuff to wipe up. Now, we are going to add the honey. So take a look. I've just plopped that peanut butter right there down in the center of the powdered milk. I'm just going to cover it all up. Now, this oil trick 100% will work with the honey. We need 1 tablespoon, of honey. I didn't mention these at the beginning. I'm making all kinds of mistakes with this video. But kids, remember, it's perfectly all right to make mistakes, right? Everybody makes some, even grown-ups. So you need a measuring spoon. You need a tablespoon measuring spoon. And if you don't have one of those, you can just use one of the big spoons in your drawer that you use when you eat lunch or dinner or breakfast. Okay, so we're going to try and keep that honey from sticking to this measuring spoon. So I'm going to get a bunch of oil on my little towel here, same one, and I'm going to oil this all up. I'm going to do it twice because for some reason, when honey sticks to everything and I have to get my hands in there and pick it out, and then you got to get the honey off your hands, for some reason I find it very frustrating. So here's my honey bunny. Open. Oh, there's another seal on there. You can tell I haven't used these ingredients yet. Okay, I got my freshly oiled tablespoon. 1 tablespoon of honey. Here we go. Oh, there it is. It looks so good. Now, fingers crossed, the trick I'm showing you works and it just slides right out. Just pulling it right out. Maybe I didn't use enough oil. Well, for the most part, it just came right out. Look at that. Pretty good. Not too bad. Into the dirty bucket. Okay. This is where it's going to get a little bit messy, which I love, but can be tough when you're at home. So I'm going to really gently, slowly just kind of squish the peanut butter and the honey into the powdered milk. Squish, push it down, squish it, push it down, squish it in, push it down. There's a reason I chose this spoon. This is a spatula spoon, and it's flexible. See? It moves. Do, do, do. You can push it and squeeze it and squish it and move it around. See? It's very good for doing this sort of job. So there's my bowl. The light really just wants to shine. Oh, there's a good spot. The light really just wants to shine right on top of my work and make it hard to see. So I'm going to squish, push down, push down, push down. So we're going to do that for quite a while. And probably what's going to happen, which usually happens with me, is I'll get a little bit impatient and I'll just get in there with my hands and start squeezing it. But for now, we're going to try this way. Now, usually with recipes like this, it's quite common that the well-meaning person on the internet gave you the measurements, but for some reason, and they worked for them, but for some reason at home they don't work for you. So the same rules apply all the time with dough. If it's too dry, once you've mixed it, add a little bit more of the wet ingredients. In this case, it would probably be the peanut butter because the honey is stickier. And then if it's too wet, if it doesn't feel like Play-Doh or look like Play-Doh when you're done, you can add a little bit more of the powdered milk. Now, I don't think I want to mix with the spoon for much longer. I think I want to get right in there and squeeze it. It might make it a lot easier to mix. Now, if you've ever, parents, worked with cornmeal is kind of like it's got a coarse, they say, texture. And this dough is really starting to look like cornmeal, like little tiny bumps that are all roughly the same size. See? Let's find a spot where there we go. Once that starts to happen, that's when you know you're ready to get in there with your hands and start mixing. Now, just like we did with the tablespoon and we tried to do with the measuring cup, you can try this oil trick on your hands before you get in there. It might make it easier for your children as well, rather than having the big goopy peanut butter and stuff on your hands. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to, whoa! Okay, that was way too much. Just going to get a little bit of oil on my hands, not a ton. Rub it all on there. Oh, that actually feels really good. And then I am going to start mixing. Oh, yeah. I can tell already. It definitely feels like there is not enough peanut butter in this recipe. So let's add some more. I'm just going to get a scoop and add it in and hope for the best. Parents, I'd say maybe then, when you set out to measure at the beginning, use half a cup of peanut butter and not just a third, okay? That's what I would suggest. I think that's going to end up being what this works out to, approximately. Oh, now it's getting, whoa, now it's stuck right to me. Look at that. I used the oil and the peanut butter just slid right off my hand. So it works with your hands for sure. So mix and mix and mix and mix and mix and mix and mix. Now what I'm doing is I gather a big handful of it and then I squeeze. Big handful, then squeeze. Big handful and squeeze. For some reason I really want to stand up and do this. Yeah, I think it's going to need to be a full half cup of peanut butter because I can already tell this needs a little bit more. And I can tell that because it still feels a little bit dry. It's not all clumped together like a ball of Play-Doh. It's still a little bit dry. But it smells delicious. Okay, let's do this, friends. Another little scoop. Get it right in there. There we go. Now, rather than just put my whole hand right on top of the peanut butter, I'm going to cover the peanut butter with other dough first so that I don't just get it all over my hands. Okay. So then when I start to grab it and squish it to mix it together. Whoo, that is cold. Then when I grab it and squish it together, I don't just get a handful of peanut butter. It's already coated in dough. It kind of protects your hands. Oh, now it's starting to form a ball, almost like Play-Doh. See? I'm getting somewhere. Let's keep mixing. I wonder if this might need a little bit more honey too. Okay, here we go. Now there's a lot of dough here. I am going to just use a small amount of it actually. So if you've ever eaten a peanut butter cup, this dough has the same consistency as the stuff inside the peanut butter cup. It's crumbly from the powdered milk, but it still has a bit of cohesiveness, like a little bit of a doughy-like consistency because of the peanut butter and the honey. So I'm going to take a little bit and use it to play. So you know it's ready, and you know that it has enough peanut. Ooh, right there we go. You know that it has enough peanut butter in it, and it's wet enough. If you can make it into a big ball, and if you squish it, it doesn't totally just crumble apart. If it just crumbled like this, when I squished it, I'd need a bit more peanut butter. So here we go. I'm going to use my little play mat that I have right here, and I am going to roll out my dough. Now I have a rolling pin right here, and I'm going to try that out, okay? Let's see if I can make it so that you can see. There it is. See? Right on those princesses there. If any of you have ever used a rolling, oh, of course my princess mat's going to roll away. If you've ever used a rolling pin before with Play-Doh, it's just like that. So I'm trying to roll it out and my little mat is just flying away. So see? Ta-da! There's my dough. And look what I have here, because Halloween's coming soon and that's my favorite time of year. I have a bat. Ooh, there I am. I just want you to be able to see my dough. I'm going to press it right in there, and I'm going to make a big giant bat cookie and see what happens. Just like when you play Play-Doh. Oh, can you see it? It turned out perfect. Oh, look. It turned out perfectly. It's a little bat. Now, I'm going to pretend like I'm going to cook this in the oven. So right here I have a baking sheet that's got parchment paper on the bottom so my peanut butter cookie doesn't stick to it. And I'm going to take my little bat and put it right on there. See? Now, parents, if you do want to bake these after and try them out as a snack, I can't vouch for their flavor because I personally can't eat them, but they smell great, so I'm sure it's going to be delicious. You bake them for anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes at 350 degrees. Okay, now we can just play with the dough. I can roll it into a ball. I can get some more and pretend like it's peanut butter snow and make a snow person. Look. Oh, halfway to a snow person. I can make the tiny ball for the head. See? Ta-da! I could bake that in the oven too. Let's put that in the pan. That one will take longer than 10 minutes but I don't think it really matters if the dough is uncooked in the middle because there's nothing hazardous in there. There's no raw eggs. There's nothing. It doesn't really need to be cooked. You can eat it raw. Now I've got more dough in my bowl because there's a lot with this recipe. I think I'm going to try to make a little heart shape and I'll bake it for my girl, Esme, when she comes home from school and maybe she'll like to eat it. So I'm not even going to use the rolling pin. I'm going to squish this one flat in my hands. Ready? I'm going to put it on one palm and I'm going to come on down here and squish. Oh, squish. It just makes like a cookie. See? And I got a fork right here. And I'm going to turn it into a heart by pushing down in one spot. My fork, see? And then pushing down in another spot like that. Kind to shape it into a little heart shape. Let's see. Pinch at the bottom and make a point. Look at that. Ta-da! Like if I hold it up against my shirt, you can see it really well. It's a little heart-shaped peanut butter cookie. And I'm going to use my fork and poke into it to give it some texture. Texture is when it's not just a flat surface on top. It has maybe some bumps or a design or lines in it or something like that. So I'm just going to go poke, 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 poke with my fork. And it almost looks like it's got polka dots. Very fun. See? See all those little holes? And then I'm going to put that in my pan. And I'm going to bake it. Now, if you didn't want to bake this, but you did want to play with it again, I would suggest putting it in a Ziploc baggie and keeping it in the fridge because these are all ingredients that could spoil. Any more than a week or so, and you're probably going to want to chuck it in the bin. Do you want to see what I made? Let's look at it all together. Oh, they're going to slide. There's, of course, my snow person, my heart cookie with the texture, and my bat that's going to fly. That's my Halloween one. And that's everything. Thanks for joining me today, friends. If you have any questions about this, you can message us on the Family Literacy Center Facebook page or on the Instagram, or you can always give us a call at the Family Literacy Center at 867-668-6535. It was so much fun working with you today. Bye.